Meet Ethan. Like many young people, Ethan felt completely overwhelmed by the constant pressures, expectations, and unpredictable difficulties of daily life. Whenever things went wrong, Ethan looked for something to blame. He blamed his school, his environment, and his plain bad luck. He spent countless hours feeling trapped inside his own room, constantly frustration about circumstances he simply could not change or control. Every setback felt like an unfair personal obstacle designed specifically to hold him back from achieving his true personal potential. Seeing his grandson struggle with frustration, Ethan's wise grandfather decided it was time to teach him a fundamental life lesson. He walked gently into Ethan's room, sat down beside him, and offered an unexpected invitation for an early morning journey. Ethan complained immediately about the poor weather forecast, insisting that going outside today was a terrible idea destined for failure. But his grandfather simply smiled, opened an ancient wooden box, and assured Ethan that nature always teaches us priceless wisdom. Early the next morning, as a cool blue mist hung over the tranquil lake, they arrived together at the wooden dock. The air was cold and fresh as they walked quietly toward a small, beautiful classic wooden sailboat tied securely to the post. Without saying a single word, the grandfather untied the heavy ropes, preparing their small vessel to navigate the open water. Ethan stepped nervously onto the wooden deck, clutching the rail tightly as the boat rocked gently upon the cold water. Together, they pushed off into the vast lake, gliding steadily away from the safety and comfort of the familiar shore. At first, Ethan sat in silent frustration, staring moodily into the deep water, convinced this trip was entirely pointless and boring. Meanwhile, his grandfather took his place calmly at the wooden tiller, guiding the boat toward the center of the lake. Suddenly, dark storm clouds rolled across the sky, completely hiding the warm morning sun behind heavy shadows. Powerful gusts of wind swept violently across the lake's surface, turning the smooth water into unpredictable, crested white waves. The large white sail began to flap wildly in the howling wind, tilting the boat dramatically to one side. Panic immediately gripped Ethan. He gripped the edges tightly and began yelling about the terrible, unfair storm ruining their trip. He shouted at the sky, cursing the sudden bad weather and complaining loudly about how unlucky they were to be caught out here.
But his grandfather remained entirely motionless and calm. He did not yell, complain, or panic about the fierce blowing storm. Instead, he looked at Ethan with steady eyes and signaled for him to move closer to the wooden steering tiller. Crawling carefully across the tilting floorboards, Ethan reached his grandfather, trembling with fear and complete confusion. Leaning in close, his grandfather spoke softly. "Ethan, shouting at the wind will never make the storm stop blowing." The grandfather firmly pulled the thick ropes, adjusting the large sail angle directly into the path of the powerful gust. Instantly, the boat balanced itself, converting the fierce wind power into smooth, rapid forward motion across the choppy lake. Ethan gasped in utter amazement as the vessel glided gracefully forward, using the storm's energy to propel itself ahead. His grandfather handed him the wooden tiller and ropes, saying, "You cannot control the wind, but you can adjust your sails." Taking the tiller in his hands, Ethan felt the immense power of the lake and wind pushing against the wooden rudder. Guided by his grandfather's calm instructions, Ethan learned to stop fighting the wind and start adjusting his control lever. He shifted his position, turning the rudder carefully, aligning the sail precisely to catch the strong diagonal wind current. The sailboat sliced smoothly through the cresting waves, moving forward with breathtaking power and perfect balance. In that singular, dramatic moment, a deep shift occurred inside Ethan's mind. A profound realization transformed his perspective entirely. Looking toward the distant light, he realized that complaining about difficult life circumstances changes absolutely nothing about your current reality. True power comes from taking complete responsibility for your own actions, choices, and reactions to whatever life brings. Instead of wasting valuable energy blaming external factors, you must learn to redirect life's challenges to fuel your growth. With newfound confidence, Ethan handled the tiller independently, steering the sailboat effortlessly through the remaining windy gusts. His grandfather watched quietly with deep pride, knowing that his grandson had finally grasped life's most important secret. As if echoing Ethan's internal realization, the dark clouds gradually parted, allowing warm, golden rays to shine down. The rough, choppy water settled into calm, glistening ripples as a gentle breeze carried them smoothly home. They safely reached the wooden pier near the lighthouse, bathed in the glowing light of late morning sun. Ethan brought the boat to a smooth, precise stop alongside the dock, feeling a sense of mastery he had never known. He secured the ropes effortlessly around the dock post, his hands steady and his heart filled with newfound peace. Sitting together on the edge of the pier, they listened to the gentle water lapping quietly against the wooden posts. The grandfather handed Ethan a small brass pocket compass, beautifully engraved with 4 simple words: "Adjust your sails." Ethan held the compass tightly, knowing this small object would forever remind him of his responsibility over his own life. When Ethan returned home, he looked at his bedroom not as a prison of bad luck, but as his private workshop. He cleaned his desk, organized his goals, and stopped viewing past failures as permanent roadblocks to his ultimate happiness. He placed the brass compass right beside his computer screen, keeping its powerful lesson visible at every moment. He began taking daily action, writing down clear personal goals, and accepting full responsibility for his progress every day. At school, whenever difficult challenges arose, Ethan no longer made excuses or blamed teachers for his bad marks. Instead, he adapted his habits, asked thoughtful questions, and put in the necessary time to master difficult concepts. He realized that complaining drains your energy, while taking personal action builds unstoppable momentum and inner confidence. His relationships improved dramatically because he stopped expecting others to change, focusing instead on his own personal mindset. Night after night, Ethan worked diligently toward his personal dreams, knowing that continuous, small efforts produce magnificent results. Months later, standing on the same mountain cliff, Ethan looked out over the vast sea with complete emotional freedom. The ocean wind blew gently against his face, but he was no longer afraid of storms or unexpected weather. He knew that no matter how hard the wind blows in life, he holds the power to adjust his sail. Take responsibility for your journey today. Stop blaming external circumstances and steer your life toward greatness. Remember, you cannot change the direction of the wind, but you can always adjust your sails. Subscribe for more inspiring stories.